Hello everybody, it's Max with Crypto Talk Now. So let's take a look at this real quick because you know what? At the end of the day, let's face it, Terra Luna pretty much set the groundwork moving forward about how projects should rethink their tokenomics. And here are the reasons for that. So let's start off right here. The opening title of this article states how tokenomics might change in the wake of the Terra collapse. But in reality, let's face it, what it should say is how the Terra collapse will basically change tokenomics from here on out. So, a few key takeaways I want to point out. I'm not going to read the entire article verbatim, but it's this right here. Designing tokenomics that help foster growth in the surrounding ecosystem is likely to be a key tokenomics lesson to be learned from Terra's collapse. Basically what I just said earlier, different way of saying it. Staking is gaining traction in the tokenomics discussion and is likely to continue that way in the near future. Yes, the fact that Terra failed is not necessarily proof that the design is wrong. Somewhat. Ecosystems like Terra would do well to spend as much time simplifying and educating the public on what they are attempting to achieve. Okay, I could agree with that. So, it goes on to mention, it seems that tokenomics is in crisis, where before a superficially deflationary monetary system was enough to draw in investors. That's true. The Terra collapse and the ongoing downturn have likely had an irreversible impact on the perceptions of traders, true, who now may think twice before throwing their money in with a coin that claims, quote, strong tokenomics. Very true. So, what are platforms and developers to do now? Good question. Abandon tokenomics altogether and focus more on actual utility, or refine their use of tokenomics so as to avoid catastrophic death spirals. Larry always throws that expression around, death spiral. And couldn't agree more. Platforms for developers, they're going to have to figure out a lot of different things as far as, what they're going to do moving forward. They cannot abandon tokenomics altogether. I think you still have to have some sort of a breakdown when it comes to these things, especially with the low market cap tokens. It's just kind of like the norm, if you will, especially on new token projects with low market caps, to explain to the potential new investor the breakdown of those tokenomics. They want to know how much is going to go to marketing wallet, how much is going to be kicked back to them in the form of reflection based on how many people buy new tokens, the transactions. They want to know if a person's going to be punished if they sell the token. Whale activity. If a whale comes in, buys a whole bunch, and he dumps it, what's going to happen with that? So in my opinion, you cannot abandon tokenomics altogether, but you can definitely use this as a learning model moving forward, especially with what happened with Luna. I'm not going to read all of this, but another few things I want to point out is this section right here. Staking is gaining traction in the tokenomics discussion and is likely to continue that way for the near future. The ability to earn additional value out of the held tokens holds strong appeal, says Chris Kurwana, Vice President of Anti-Money Laundering Solutions at FeedZai, a risk operations platform. I mean, some of these things we basically know, but it says a focus on utility. That should be it just there. There's also strong likelihood that many platforms and crypto assets will turn away from tokenomics to some extent in the future. I could kind of agree with that. However, it says, and simply work on making themselves more useful. Well, yes, we do need to see that. We need to see more of the utility being focused. Focus on what does this bring to the table? What is this tokens? What is this real utility? Put differently, projects may shift their focus from the supply side to the demand side, because at the end of the day, what produces significant upward motion in price is the supply and demand. Quote, any design mechanisms and structures that can help foster a thriving ecosystem which incentivizes users not to consider them solely as a speculative asset is likely to be an area of focus. Tokenomics can accommodate such a shift to the extent that it focuses on the long term. An example, encouraging more stable and persistent demand, sticky demand in other words, he added. However, not everyone is entirely convinced that Terra's demise signals the end of tokenomics as a mechanism for boosting prices. A counterargument runs that because UST was a stablecoin, its lessons aren't necessarily those for tokenomics as a whole. And then check out this quote before we close. The fact that Terra failed is not necessarily proof that the design is wrong, but can be due to other factors like the way of the yield on Anchor Protocol is determined. The high yield was no longer consistent with the decrease in the crypto market. So with that said, everybody, how do you feel about tokenomics moving forward? Do you feel as though projects, whether they're low market cap or high market cap, can learn basically from this? I imagine so. But I will state this. Moving forward, I still want to see a breakdown in any project or product, the top 100, some people refer to those products. I still want to see a breakdown in the tokenomics. I want to see where the money is supposed to be going. I want to see how much goes to the devs. I want to see how much goes to the marketing, so on and so forth. To me, these are things that are to be expected. Just kind of like when a new token project comes out, that we expect to see those projects to be fully doxed at this point, because that should be the new norm. With that said, everybody, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'd like to hear what you think about tokenomics. Do you feel as though that moving forward the emphasis should be on the utility, or the emphasis should be on the tokenomics, or should there be an area between? I'm a firm believer that there should be an area between, and that we shouldn't completely abandon the old model. We should learn from the old model and improve upon it. So on behalf of Crypto Talk Now, this is Maximus with today's Luna discussion about tokenomics. With that said, everybody, thanks for watching today's video. May you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.